Hi! We talked about focus and how that is really one of the most essential places to spend some time if you want to progress 10 times the rate you are now. And you really can. Just look at the areas of playing guitar. Let's say you really lack rhythm skills. Like when you try to solo, you can't really, you stumble and fall because you can't play the rhythms that you want to play underneath the notes. When you play riffs, you have a hard time getting into them because you don't really have the skills of playing them because you lack the rhythm skills, right? So everything that you try to play on top of that is going to suffer because of your rhythm skills. Once you bring those up, then you can suddenly hear how good you are at technique, at all the other things like scales and your soloing capabilities, right? So focusing on that is going to make the biggest difference in your development now, right? That's just one example on the global level of guitar playing. But when we then look at individual skills like playing chords, soloing, soloing where we have techniques, for instance, underneath techniques we have picking up and down on one string, which is an essential thing that we all need to master. And in that little area, what is there an exercise we can do that means more to your development of these skills than anything else? Because there always are. There's 100 things you can do always, right? There's 100 things you can practice and spend your time on. And it's impossible to do it all, right? So what you need to do is not do it all or look at the all and go overwhelmed, right? You need to focus and say, what are the few essentials that I can do that will mean more to my development than all the other put together? And it's always like this in any endeavor. There are always the vital few over the trivial many. So when it comes to picking and alternate picking, developing your picking skills, there's one exercise. Because what we just found out in the previous video is that it's all about accuracy. Once you have picking depth accuracy when you pick, then suddenly you have the same amount of resistance going back and forth across the string because there's the same picking height, picking depth. So it's the same resistance, and you don't really need to go any deeper than the string itself, so you can't really see the pick underneath the string if you look from it from the side. When we know that that is the actual challenge, we might try to say it's not it. We want to do all kinds of stuff, and we can come up with all kinds of weird analysis of why we're not progressing as fast as we want, but it's only confusion. Because once you have that total accuracy when it comes to picking depth, it's no problem anymore. Of course, there's sub-skills that you need to practice, but once you have that, then you are using no resources to make the picking happen. And going up and down rapidly, doing those accents so you synchronize the two hands is so much easier. In other words, everything becomes easier once you have that skill down, right? And in order to get that skill down, controlled picking, you need to have total picking depth accuracy and just pick deep enough to make the string ring out, but not deeper than that, because that's when you get into trouble. You have to use all kinds of force and use tension and all kinds of stuff. So let's look into that. We now know what the most important thing to focus on is when it comes to picking. Now let's look at an exercise you can do that will absolutely own in on that completely. Focus on that and make the biggest difference to your picking skills. So let's look at that. Because we think that speed is the problem with our picking, we tend to just pick away at it, right? We just pick out and we develop whatever technique is the most intuitive, and we struggle with, is this really the right way of doing it? Should I hold my pick in a different way, right? But that is not the focus. The focus of picking fast is not picking fast. It's accuracy, as we've been talking about in other videos. So how do you practice accuracy? You make sure that you don't pick any deeper than the string itself, because that's all you need. And if you can do that on every pick stroke up and down, then that's just, then playing fast is just a matter of having your accents right. And accuracy comes through perfect repetitions, where you focus on accuracy, because you have to have that focus. If you don't have the focus, the brain is not going to learn anything, because it's not focused in that area, right? It's just focused on picking, right? And so we try to pick fast, but we have no idea that the reason why we cannot pick fast is because we're not accurate. Once you're accurate, it's like a machine almost, right? So here's the exercise that's going to mean more to your development than anything else when it comes to picking. It's a one-string exercise where you focus on nothing but First of all, you have this twitch in your hand, right? That's how you pick. You cannot see it because the movements are so small, but you don't go up and down like this. This is uncontrollable. This is not. This is really cool when it comes to, it's a really cool movement. But, so that's what you do. And then you practice not picking the string any deeper than you need to. And just note, once you do that, you can really feel how easy it is to cross the string. And you should have a totally stiff pick, of course. And then once you have that down, you start making little accents. You go ba da 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 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and you have to bam like that, right? And to do that with accuracy requires a lot of repetitions, right? Because you need to teach the brain where the string is, basically, without looking, on a very 1/1000th of a million or 1/100th of a millimeter level, right? Right? So you have exactly the same resistance at each pick stroke. Because how on earth are you going to pick fast if you don't, right? Then you have to use your whole arm to get that working, because then it doesn't matter with picking depth, because you're just forcing it through the string, right? But if you're going to have this kind of, where it seems like you're using the same technique when you play slow as when you play fast, then you need to have these repetitions where you focus on accuracy. That's it, right? And every string is different, so you have to practice on every string, because this is very light, this is very heavy. This is round, right? So picking accurately on the low strings is something different than practicing on or picking accurately up here. So that's the way. That's the focus. Once you're accurate, then learning all the other little aspects of picking is really easy, right? Yeah, easy. I wouldn't say, nothing's easy on this instrument. It requires you to repeat stuff, but it will mean more to your development than any other single thing that you can do when it comes to picking. Now, this is just one little thing that I pulled out of my new 30-day course that's all about how to get 10 times the results out of the same practice time that you're using today. And you really can. Just imagine if you stacked these insights, stacked these methods for 30 days, 1 hour a day, right? It's just incredible how much we can do when we start being intelligent about what goes on and really start using the principle of rapid development. And go check it out, right? You can click the link down here, go to the webpage, there's a free webinar you can watch, and go check it out. See if it's for you, and then I'll just see you in the next free video.